Welcome back, and now the rest of our stories. Commissioner of Police, River State Police Command, CP Olubenga A. Adepoju, has visited the scene of a gruesome attack on the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the River State Cassava Project Limited, Mr. Gibson Ruben, an expatriate from the Netherlands. The incident occurred on Monday, 13 January 2025 at about 20:30 hours at L2 Eleme Bridge, where unknown gunmen ambushed Ruben's vehicle, causing him to lose control and crash into the river. Fortunately, the mobile police personnel accompanying Ruben managed to escape, but he and the Hilux van are still submerged in the water. A search party led by the Command's Marine Unit has since been constituted to rescue the expatriate, who is also the driver in charge of the Hilux van. The search party's efforts resulted in the recovery of the lifeless body of the expatriate, Mr. Gibson Ruben, and the white-colored Toyota Hilux van. The recovery of the body and vehicle brings somber end to the rescue efforts. CP Olubenga A. Adepoju was accompanied by the area commander Eleme DPOs within the Eleme area command and tactical teams of the command already at the scenes. The CP at the scene strongly condemned the attack as very condemned the attack as very barbaric and has ordered a full-scale investigation with immediate arrest of the perpetrators of this reprehensible act, vowing to bring them to justice. This incident is a disturbing situation, and the police commissioner's swift response is a welcome step towards addressing these concerns. He is calling on the good people of River State to provide credible information that could lead to the arrest of the fleeing perpetrators of this act. Analysts believe that the current court judgment nullifying the PDP Congress will definitely be appealed. Socio-political analyst Inze Onze said it is River State's indigents who are on the receiving end of the current political crisis in the state. He also advised politicians to not destroy the interest of the people due to personal gain.
Look like the battle axe in the hands of political gladiators. Because I don't like what I am seeing. The people who are the receiving end of all this are the masses. Yes, just the judgment we are seeing now definitely will be appealed, if it is not yet appealed by now. But however, when we look at what brought about the judgment, we begin to look from the other angle. You see the way politicians disobey court order. It is not right. And we are saying, look, do not, because of your personal interest, destroy the interest of Nigeria and our judicial system, our political system, and the rest of that. But the politicians will not agree to that. Now, prior to that congresses, there was a...
Another analyst, Honorable Kingsley Akumefule, tagged the courts as the biggest challenge in Nigeria, citing an example, the means by which Imo State Governor Uzodinma came into power.
Become the major challenge we have today in Nigeria. We are asking, or perhaps saying that maybe one day court can declare Honorable Kingsley Akumefule governor. It's possible because the courts in Nigeria have done that. The governor of Imo State today, the court became the people who voted. God became INEC, who counted the result. God became the returning officer, who declared those are the man. As governor, a man who was in number 4 position after the election.
Governor Sheriff Oborevwori has approved an adjustment in the portfolios of 2 commissioners and members of the State Executive Council. A statement by the Secretary to the State Government, Dr. Kingsley Eze Emu, said the adjustment of their portfolios takes immediate effect. The statement said the State Commissioner for Works, Rural and Riverine Area Roads, Mr. Charles Anyagu, is now designated as Commissioner for Works, Rural Roads and Public Information. It stated that the former Commissioner for Information, Dr. Ifeanyi Oswaza, is now designated as Commissioner for Special Duties, Government House. The statement said the realignment of portfolios was critical and necessary in furtherance of the implementation of the administration's more agenda. Former Senate Deputy President and APC governorship candidate in the 2023 Delta State election, Ovie Omoagege, has dismissed claims of plans to leave the party. In a statement on Tuesday by his media advisor, Sonny Are, Ovie Omoagege described the reports as baseless, calling it a product of speculative journalism without any truth. He said, in the Word publication, it was alleged that Senator Ovie Omoagege, Deputy President of the Senate in the 9th session, is scheming to abandon the All Progressive Congress to team up with Malam Nasser El-Rufai to float a phantom new political party. The story is not only shocking but idiotic. Ovie Omoagege maintained that having led the APC to its best ever performance in the 2023 general elections in Delta State, where the party won 2 of the 3 senatorial seats, and Senator Ovie Omoagege was narrowly cheated from coasting to victory in the governorship election, associating his name with the political group the former Kaduna State governor is said to be working on is a clear case of fable without any basis whatever. He further stressed that the story is a product of a hatchet job orchestrated by political forces whose only path to relevance is to create a wedge between Senator Ovie Omoagege and President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, adding that it's a game the perpetrators are ready and already deploying blackmail and other subterfuge to sabotage the APC. Over 50 aggrieved women from Uzere community in Isoko, South local government area of Delta State have protested, vowing to ensure peace returns to the community. The protest may be linked to the leadership tussle rocking the community, particularly the postponement of the December 2024 conference, during which new community leaders were supposed to be elected. The protesters, who stormed the council secretariat, carried placards bearing various inscriptions such as Governor Sheriff Oborevwori call Sonny Eke to order, say no to tyranny, say no to oppression. We need free and fair elections in Uzere. Sonny Eke's tenure has ended, say no to intimidation. Uzere needs peace, not crisis, and Sonny Eke is causing problems and crisis in Uzere. Madam Adehegba Patience, in her address, recalled the consensus reached by members of the Uzere community to shun any acts capable of igniting a fresh leadership crisis in the community. Adehegba noted Uzere community leadership tenure is 2 years for every elected office holder. The outgoing President General, Mr. Sonny Eke, has refused to call a conference so that elections can be conducted to elect a new executive. The protesting women accused Mr. Eke of unleashing a reign of terror and violence on innocent members of the community through intimidation. Local Government Council Chairman Friday Wari said his administration is aware of the issues raised by the women. He assured the women that their complaints would be handled truthfully and based on facts. Police in Akwa Ibom State have arrested 4 suspects in connection with the theft of 4 fire service trucks belonging to the state's fire service. The State Commissioner of Police, CP Baba Azere, disclosed this during his maiden briefing held at the command's headquarters, Ikot Akpan Abia, Uyo, the state capital, on Monday. Azare said the suspects were arrested following credible information from a Good Samaritan that the trucks were stolen and taken to Port Harcourt, Rivers State. He added that the operatives swung into action, and further investigation revealed that the trucks were leased out to some multinational companies at the rate of 140,000 naira per truck per day for an initial period of 3 years. The Commissioner of Police, who highlighted other breakthroughs recorded by the command within the period under review, said that the command arrested 2 in connection with the vandalization of transformers, 6 suspects arrested in connection with the raping of a 13 years old girl for 3 years, while a director in the Ministry of Justice who was kidnapped was also rescued, among others. On vandalization, Azare said that operatives have arrested 2 suspects in connection with the vandalization of a transformer belonging to Shaw Foundation Polytechnics situated at Ikot Atai, Ukanafon local government. Newly sworn in Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Mojisola Miranda, on Tuesday was at the residence of the State Governor, Lagos House Marina, to meet with members of the Governor's Advisory Council. According to Mojisola, who briefly spoke to the press after the meeting, which lasted hours, the meeting was to meet the leaders to seek their blessings. Ifon Progressive Union, an umbrella body for the indigenes of Ifon Orolu in Osun State, has alleged that two people were injured in a shooting incident in the Apin Pororo area, purportedly carried out by individuals from the neighboring Ilobu community. Ifon and Ilobu share a history of communal clashes, often fueled by disputed boundaries, which have resulted in loss of lives and destruction of properties over the years. Providing details of the latest incident, the Secretary of the Ifon Orolu Progressive Union's Board of Trustees, Jide Akinyuye, disclosed that the violence erupted in the early hours of Tuesday, January 14, 2025. He criticized the attack, describing it as a flagrant disregard for human life. He accused the Ilobu community of escalating the crisis despite ongoing government efforts to resolve the boundary disputes in the Opapa buffer zone. Akinyuye called on the state government to take decisive action against those responsible for the violence. He commended the Olufun of Ifon Orolu, Oba Peter Ipadiola, for restraining his suspects from retaliatory measures and urged the government to adopt firmer strategies to prevent further loss of life and property. New Commissioner of Police in Ekiti State, Joseph Eribo, on Tuesday said the state boundaries were well protected against infiltration of bandits and criminals from other parts of Ekiti. Eribo hailed the state government for the various security measures, including a motorking call, agro rangers and marshals put in place to ward off insecurity from the state. The CP, who spoke in a chat with journalists in Ado Ekiti, the state capital, said that the police command under him would continue with crime mapping. He urged youths to shun kidnapping, describing it as the shortest way to prison and the shortest way to cut short one's life. I am being told about the prevalent crime here and the flashpoints, the areas where they are happening. We will dominate our environments to ensure that citizens sleep with their both eyes closed. Eribo, who said he would build on what others have done, said governance is a continuum. Others have been here and they have done so well. We are very proud of their achievements, but there is room for improvement. The CP added that the state government had given the command 100% support for optimal performance while charging youths to harness the positive development avenues in the state. Middle-aged man whose identity remains unknown was shot and killed by the government on Monday afternoon in Ibadan, Oyo State. The tragic incident occurred around 3 p.m. at Anfani Junction along Ring Road. Eyewitnesses reported that the assailants riding motorcycles trailed the victim to the location before opening fire. Another motorcycle rider who witnessed the scene said, "I first thought it was police pursuing Yahoo boys, but when he was shot, we all had to run for safety. By the time we realized they were killers, they had moved towards Anfani Road." When reached for comments, the police public relations officer of the Oyo State Police Command, CSP Adewale Osifoso, confirmed the incident. He stated that an investigation was underway and efforts were ongoing to ascertain the identity of the deceased. Osifoso assured that updates would be provided as the investigation unfolds. Oyo State Commissioner of Police Ayodele Sonupu on Tuesday dismissed reports claiming a state of emergency had been declared in the state. In a statement issued by the State Public Relations Officer Adewale Osifoso in Ibadan, the command cautioned the public against spreading false and unverified information that could undermine the state's relative peace and stability. The command further warns members of the public against the spread of fake and unverified news capable of disrupting the enviable relative tranquility in the state. The statement further enjoined all law-abiding residents of the state to go about their lawful businesses without any fear or molestation, as the command will not renege on its statutory duties of protecting all lives and properties. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has pledged to honor victorious athletes who recently represented the FCT in various sporting activities. Wike disclosed this in a statement from the FCT Sports Department on Tuesday in Abuja. He said that the reception scheduled for Tuesday is in recognition of athletes who represented the FCT at the 2022 National Sports Festival, the 7th and 8th National Youth Games. According to him, the honor is to appreciate the athletes for their acts of sacrifice, patriotism and determination that have brought glory to the FCT. Some vulnerable FCT residents, including the scavengers, beggars, petty traders, among others, have filed a suit against the minister. Nyesom Wike demanding 500 million naira in damages over alleged breach of their fundamental rights. Legal practitioner Abba Hikima filed the suit before Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court in Abuja on behalf of the vulnerable residents. Hikima, listed as the applicant in the originating motion dated November 19, 2024, but filed November 20, 2024, said he is suing in public interest for the protection of vulnerable citizens in Nigeria. The applicant sued Wike, Inspector General of Police, Director General Department of State Services and Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps as first to fourth respondents. The lawyer also joined the Attorney General of the Federation and for the Federal Government of Nigeria as fifth to sixth respondents respectively. He is praying for an order awarding the sum of 500 million naira as general and exemplary damages for the violation of the fundamental rights of the affected citizens. He prayed the courts to declare that the arbitrary arrest, detention without charges, harassment and extortion of homeless persons, scavengers, petty traders, beggars and all other vulnerable Nigerians resident in the FCT constitute a violation of their fundamental rights. The rights, they said, are guaranteed under sections 34, 35, 41 and 42 of the Constitution of Nigeria 1999 as altered. Justice Omotosho, who ordered that hearing notice be issued and served on the respondents who were not represented in court, adjourned the matter until February 4 for hearing. Commandant of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Federal Capital Territory Command, Dr. Olushola Odumosu, has charged 137 graduating officers and men to maintain the highest standards of professionalism and discipline as they embark on their security assignments. Speaking during the passing out parade of the Batch B Basic Arms Training held on Tuesday at the FCT Command Headquarters in Abuja, the commandant noted the importance of adhering to the rules of engagement in the discharge of the duties. Odumosu urged the personnel to remain vigilant, disciplined and focused as they take up their roles in safeguarding lives, properties and critical national infrastructure within the FCT. The commandant reminded the officers that their rigorous training had prepared them to face security challenges with competence and resolve. He highlighted the significance of their role in supporting the command's efforts to combat vandalism, illegal mining, theft of public infrastructure, and other crimes. He commended the instructors for their dedication to preparing the officers for their responsibilities, noting that their expertise had been instrumental in sharpening the skills and instilling the values needed for the job. Analysts has opined that the charges proposed to the FCT Commissioner of Police, although understandable, were not held in court. Ain Musa Mufasa, a public affairs analyst, while speaking on Atlantic Blowout, said, although the stealing of manhole covers on pedestrian walkway poses a harm and death to unsuspecting users, the police do not have the power to operate outside the stipulated laws.
Consider the fact that, even in Abuja, the seat of power, we could still be hearing, these people still holding sway is quite mind-boggling. But looking at the position of the commissioner and the charges that he has proposed, because for me, I will consider it as a proposal, you cannot do anything outside the provisions of the law, sadly so, in as much as, like you rightly said, when you remove the manhole cover, most of which are situated on the pedestrian walkway, it could actually lead to the death of unsuspecting passerby, but you cannot outrightly charge somebody that steals a manhole cover for murder unless it is instituted in our laws, so that's where, a little, misgiving, can be deduced from, because even if you charge the suspect to court, I'm sure you are aware that they have a right to legal representation. And part of the arguments that will be put forward by their own legal team or legal counsel will be the fact that what are the provisions of the law as penalties for economic saboteurs, and the likes, So these are the
People's Democratic Party State Working Committee in Benue State has nominated a former governor of the state, Samuel Otom, as a member of the party's board of trustees. According to a statement issued on Tuesday by the party state publicity secretary, Tim Inyo, and made available to journalists in Makurdi, the state capital, the decision came in the wake of the expiration of the tenure of previous members. According to the party's spokesman, in compliance with sections 32(1)(g) and 32(4) of the PAP Constitution, the nomination was announced via correspondence from the party secretariat to Autumn and signed by the party secretary, Dan Inyankwang. The party noted that the experience and dedication of the former governor to the party made him the ideal candidate for the position. The State Working Committee said the new role was expected to enhance the party's influence and strategic direction as it prepares for the upcoming elections. The party expressed optimism that Autumn's contributions to the BOT will strengthen the party's cohesion in Benue and ensure that the interests of the states resonates within the national party framework. Jigawa State Command of Nigeria Immigration Service (NIS) has rescued 10 victims of suspected trafficking during a midnight operation in Babura local government. State NIS Comptroller CIS Musa disclosed this while briefing newsmen in his office, Duse. He said the interception is based on the Operation Salama team carried out on January 12, 2025 at Naira Samia Kwanse in Babura local government area. He said the victims, comprising 8 females and 2 males, were en route to Europe through illegal migration channels. CIS Musa explained that the victims' ages range from between 21 and 30 years, with origins from Ogun, Oyo, Ondo, and Imo State. He said interrogation revealed that they were being trafficked from various locations to Kano and onward to Babura, with plans to cross into the Niger Republic, then to Libya, and eventually Europe via the Mediterranean Sea. The victims have been handed over to the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, for rehabilitation and further investigation. During a brief media briefing, the command expressed concern over the rising cases of human trafficking and illegal migration, urging parents and guidance to monitor their children and prevent them from falling prey to traffickers. Academic Staff Union of University's Gombe State University branch on Tuesday expressed concern over the continuous violations of the university's laws in the appointment of the institution's vice-chancellor. Recall that Gombe State Governor Muhammadu Yahaya on October 16, 2024 appointed Professor Sani Yawuta as acting vice-chancellor of the institution, neglecting the three nominees presented to him by the Governing Council on September 14, 2024 for Yawuta. According to the union, the institution's law 2018 provides for the office of the vice-chancellor to be held for a single tenure of 5 years, with the Governing Council submitting 3 nominees to the visitor for appointment. The chairperson of the branch, Suleiman Jauro, and Secretary Mustafa Muhammad, in a press briefing, claimed that the government violated these laws by appointing an acting professor as vice-chancellor instead of a substantive one. The union also alleged that the government has re-advertised the post of vice-chancellor, truncating the earlier completed process, adding this arbitrary truncation of the process represents a bad antecedent in the governance of Gombe State University. Speaking further, the union decried the bewilderment of the council over the tone of events, noting that they are wondering how the recommenced process will be completed without its input, as University Senate has a critical role to play in the process of appointing a vice-chancellor for the university. Governor Babangana Zulum has condemned terrorist attack in the Domba community near Baga in Kukawa local government area of Borno State. The governor condemned the attack, which claimed at least 40 farmers and fishermen on Sunday, and called on the officers and men of Operation Hadin Kai to track and obliterate the insurgent elements that are operating at Domba and other similar enclaves in the Lake Chad area. The attack was said to have been carried out by Boko Haram and ISWAP elements operating in the area. Zulum commiserated with the victims and their families and assured them that those still missing will be found and reunited with their families. In a statement by the State's Commissioner of Information and Internal Security, Usman Tar, the governor said, "With deep sorrow and anguish, I received the sad news of the attack on Domba, where scores of our farmers and fishermen were killed by the terrorists." The governor called on citizens not to venture beyond the safety zones that are demarcated by the government and security agencies. 85-year-old man Ibrahim Haruna has been arrested by the Nigerian Security Civil Defense Corps for an alleged rape of a 4-year-old girl. The incident occurred in the Congo community of Kafi Local Government Council of the state. The Corps Public Relations Officer Jerry Victor made this known at a press briefing in Lafayette, the state capital. The PRO narrated that the elder sister of the victim raised the alarm when she discovered the little girl was walking with discomfort and blood dripping from her legs. According to Mr. Jerry, the sister sought to know what was wrong with the little girl, who then explained her ordeal at the hands of the elderly suspect. He further alleged that the suspect lured the little girl into his room when there was nobody around, which allowed him to perpetrate the act. Mr. Jerry Victor, who presented a medical report before journalists, said a medical test was conducted and it was confirmed that the little girl had been defiled. The command spokesman announced that the case would be handed over to the State Ministry of Justice after an investigation for a speedy trial. In an interview, 85-year-old Ibrahim Haruna denied the allegation and said it was a framework. Findings revealed that the parents of the 4-year-old victim and the suspected elderly man were neighbors. Meanwhile, 3 suspected cult members have been arrested by the Nasarawa State Command of Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps for allegedly causing destruction and harassment of residents of Lain, Yankaji and Super Cinema Street within Lafayette, the state capital. The command spokesman in the state expressed the commitment of the Corps to reduce crime and vandalism of public and private infrastructure to the barest minimum across the state. Kano State Commissioner for Local Governments Alhaji Tajuddin Usman has refunded 100 million naira to the state government's account. The funds represent savings from a contract awarded for sewing school uniforms for 789,000 primary school pupils across the state's 44 local government areas. Usman, who also heads the distribution committee, disclosed this during the official launch of the uniform distribution at the Kano State Government House on Monday. He stated that the surplus funds were returned after the projects was successfully completed. The initiative, aimed at providing uniforms for public primary school pupils, was part of the state government's efforts to improve access to quality education. You're watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We will be back after this break.
From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
Every day our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what
I have fought a very firmly. Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
Welcome back. This is the Global News on Atlantic Television Network, and now to the rest of our stories. President Bola Tinubu has declared the commitment of his administration to win the war against insecurity in the country. Tinubu stated this at the regimental dinner night in honor of the Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day in Abuja. Represented by the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, the president reiterated his readiness to equip the military with the necessary resources to stamp out all manner of security challenges across the country. This was disclosed in a statement signed by the Chief Press Secretary to the Deputy Speaker, Livinus Nwabugyogu, on Monday. Tinubu commended the resilience and professionalism exhibited by the military troops in the fight against insurgency, noting that those who paid the supreme price to keep the nation safe would never be forgotten. The president also pledged to prioritize the welfare and well-being of armed forces personnel, ensuring they have the necessary resources and support to carry out their constitutional duty effectively. Tinubu also commended some distinguished officers honored with various awards by the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, for their resilience and dedication, urging them to remain steadfast. President of Senate, Godswill Akpabio, says the critical task before the National Assembly on resumption is the completion of electoral reforms, given the preparations for next electoral cycle. Akpabio said this in his welcome back speech at plenary on Tuesday. Akpabio, in the speech titled "Rising to the Greatness of Our Calling," said lawmakers had a unique opportunity to strengthen the nation's democracy. Akpabio urged the lawmakers to approach consideration of the 2025 national budget with usual patriotism and diligence. According to him, the budget is not just a financial document, but the blueprint of aspirations and hopes of millions of Nigerians. Senate has confirmed the nominees of President Bola Tinubu for the newly established Northwest Development Commission and Southeast Development Commission. The confirmation followed the presentation of a report by Senator Orji Uzokalo, chairman of the Senate's Ad Hoc Committee on Regional Development, on Tuesday. Carlo stated that the nominees met all the necessary requirements during the screening process. A total of 14 nominees were confirmed for the NWDC and 18 for the SEDC. For the Northwest Development Commission, Lawal Samaila Abdullahi was confirmed as chairman, while Abdullahi Shehu Maji was named Chief Executive Officer. Other confirmed members include Yahaya Umar Nahamahe, Aminu Suleiman, Jafar Abubakar Sadiq, Yahaya Aminu Abdullahi, Muhammad Ali Wudil, Shamsu Sule, Nasidi Ali, Chuku Chijoke, Ahmed Muhammad, Ahmed Rufai, Tima Santu, McDonald's Michael Uyi, and Babatunde Dada. For the Southeast Development Commission, Emeka Wogu was confirmed as chairman, with Mark Okoye as managing director. Other nominees include Ugochukwu Agbala, Oke Izenwa, Hyacinth Ikpo, Chidi Echiazu, Ifeanyi Agu, Nasiru Usman, Hama Adama, Ali Kumo, Edward David Onoja, Orure Kufri, Inima, Daniel Akwari, Joke Adebayo, Chukuma, Stanley Ohajuruka, Sylvester Okonkwo, Toby Okechukwu, Anthony Agbo, and Clifford Ogbede. Senate Committee on Environment has expressed strong dissatisfaction over the inadequate allocation of funds to the Ministry of Environment in the 2024 budget. Speaking after an interactive section, the committee chairman, Senator Ned Nwoko, described the situation as inhuman, highlighting the plight of over 5,000 Nigerians who have not received their salaries due to funding shortfalls. Ned Nwoko decried the unpleasant experience of the Environmental Health Council of Nigeria, as the agency's staff have been without salaries. He, however, said he is focused on addressing the situation. Speaker of the House of Representatives Abbas Tajuddin stated on Tuesday that the parliament will prioritize reforming the nation's tax system to reduce reliance on external borrowing for funding the budget. Speaking during the resumption of plenary, the Speaker emphasized that the passage of the appropriation bill and the tax reform bills is crucial to Nigeria's economic recovery and fiscal stability. He explained that these reforms are vital for expanding the tax base, enhancing compliance, and decreasing dependency on external borrowing. The House, he assured, will ensure that these reforms are fair and take into account the needs of all Nigerians, particularly the most vulnerable. The Speaker expressed grief over the death of 6 soldiers in Borno State, saying their sacrifice exemplifies the highest dedication to our nation's safety and sovereignty. We honor their courage and commitment and reiterate our resolve to support efforts to end insecurity in all its forms. House of Representatives have has urged the federal government to sustain its support for the armed forces through increased funding, provision of modern equipment, and enhanced welfare packages. This is also as the House called for the commemoration of the Armed Forces Remembrance Day on January 15 to honor the bravery and sacrifices of Nigeria's fallen heroes. The House further called on the relevant committees of the House to regularly assess and provide recommendations for the improvement of the armed forces operation, ensuring their continued efficiency and effectiveness. These followed a motion moved on the floor by Honorable Babajimi Benson, APC Lagos, during plenary in Abuja. According to Benson, the armed forces of Nigeria, comprising the Nigerian Army, Nigerian Navy, and Nigerian Air Force, have demonstrated unparalleled dedication, bravery, and professionalism in combating various forms of insecurity across the country, including insurgency, banditry, and other criminal activities. He said that immense sacrifices made by the officers and men of the armed forces of Nigeria in ensuring the safety and well-being of Nigerian citizens, often at the risk of their own lives. These annual events recognizes the unparalleled dedication, bravery, and professionalism of the Nigerian armed forces in combating insecurity and ensuring national unity and global peace. Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court, Abuja, has dismissed a suit seeking to squash the appointment of the current Managing Director and Executive Director of the Niger Delta Development Commission by President Bola Tinubu. Justice Omotosho dismissed the suit for lacking in merit. The plaintiffs, through their lawyer Okere Kingdom, urged the court to compel President Tinubu to withdraw the nominations of Dr. Samuel Ogbuku, Boma Iyaye, Victor Antai, and Ifedayo Abegunde as Managing Director and Executive Directors of the NDDC. They demanded that the President appoint indigenes of oil-producing communities from Imo, Cross River, and Edo states who they alleged had not previously held these positions as mandated by Section 12(1) of the NDC Act. The applicants argued that appointments to NDDC management positions over the years had allegedly favored some oil-producing states over others, contravening relevant laws. According to them, Section 4 mandates that the appointment of the chairman rotates alphabetically among the 9 member states, while Section 12(1) requires that the managing director and executive directors be indigenes of oil-producing areas based on the quantum of oil production. Delivering his judgment, Justice Omotosho held that the proper party to initiate the case was the Attorney General of the state, being the chief law officer empowered to sue on behalf of the state or appoint a private lawyer to do. The judge held that the suit was subsequently dismissed. President Bola Tinubu had in 2023 appointed a new board and management for the NDDC. Coalition of the United Political Parties has enjoined Nigerians to reject the All Progressive Congress at the polls come 2027 because the administration has failed to address the menace of insecurity over the years. The CUPP specifically queried the federal government's perceived failure to address the nation's security challenges, which has become a source of concern to citizens and local and foreign investors. Spokesperson of the CUPP, Comrade Mark Adebayo, explained this condemnation follows the recent massacre of 40 farmers in Borno State by the Islamic State West Africa province on January 12th. Adebayo described the incident as a tragic example of the government's inability to protect its citizens. The CUPP highlighted the escalating insecurity across various states in Nigeria, with thousands of lives lost and millions displaced due to terrorist attacks and kidnappings. It accused the ruling APC of neglecting its duty to safeguard the nation's security despite significant investment in counter-terrorism efforts. The body called for a radical overhaul of the Nigerian security architecture, emphasizing the need for a government that can effectively combat insecurity. It urged Nigerians to reject the APC in the 2027 elections, warning of dire consequences if the current administration remain in power beyond that year. The spokesperson expressed condolences to the families of the victims and called for decisive action to restore peace and stability in the country. Academic Staff Union of Universities has called on the National Assembly to reject any provision of the Nigerian Tax Bill 2024 that undermines tertiary education trust funds' effectiveness and existence. That fund is a scheme established by the federal government in 2011 to disburse, manage, and monitor education tax to government-owned tertiary institutions in Nigeria. Professor Adeola Egbedokun, ASU coordinator Akure Zone, made the call on Tuesday at a news conference held at the University of Medical Sciences, Ondo. According to Egbedokun, that fund has played a pivotal role in repositioning Nigeria's tertiary education for global competitiveness and development. According to the coordinator, safeguarding that fund is vital to securing the future of education and fostering sustainable national development. Comptroller General of Nigeria Customs Service, Bashir Adeniyi, said the service collected 6.1 trillion naira in revenue in 2024, a 90.4% increase from 3.2 million naira recorded in 2023. CG Adeniyi disclosed this in a press conference in Abuja on Tuesday. Adeniyi noted that the service surpassed its 2024 revenue target of 5.07 trillion naira by 22%. According to him, the Nigeria Customs Service recorded the highest revenue collection in October when it collected 603 billion naira. He stated that unprecedented performance in 2024, the service recorded 6 billion 103.3 and 15 trillion naira. This is above the 5.07 trillion 2024 revenue target by 22%. Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission and the Nigerian Communications Commission have signed an agreement to eliminate regulatory gaps in the telecommunications industry. Tunji Bello, the executive vice chairman of FCCPC, said at the signing of the memorandum of understanding in Abuja on Tuesday that the collaboration would ensure robust consumer protection in the telecommunications industry. Bello said the partnership would also promote fair competition and ensure eradication of exploitative practices in the industry. According to him, this partnership would benefit both operators and consumers. Will also foster harmonious collaboration between the organizations and streamline operations for telecommunications operators through a one-stop shop approach. Also speaking, the executive vice chairman of the NCC, Dr. Aminu Maida, said the event was the outcome of healthy engagement that had strengthened both institutions to protect the Nigerian consumer, especially in the communications industry. Maida said that the telecommunications sector had become the cornerstone of the country's economic and social development. He said that the development had made it imperative to ensure a level playing field for all stakeholders while protecting consumers who depended on reliable and affordable communication services. According to him, this MOU is a testament to the shared vision of fostering a transparent, competitive and consumer-focused telecommunications industry. And now on to business news. Leading costs of premium motor spirits, petrol and other refined petroleum products at the depots increased on Monday. ATN gathered that marketers raised petrol and diesel prices at depot by 43 naira or 4.74% due to the rising crude oil prices. Recall that the cost of Brent, the global benchmark for crude, reached $79.76 per barrel on Sunday. This current situation indicates that filling stations nationwide may adjust their pump prices to reflect the higher cost of refined products. Data obtained by our correspondent while analyzing petrol price movements at loading depots on Monday showed that Swift's depot increased its loading price to now 50 naira per litre from now 7 naira last Friday. Our correspondent also gathered that marketers who picked products from the Dangote refinery and resell to other retailers increased their cost to now 23 naira per litre despite picking products from the refinery at 899 naira per litre. For diesel, some loading depot prices, including Stock Gap Depot, increased its price from 1,080 naira to 1,150 naira. Iboto Depot approved an increase from 1,050 naira to 1,150 naira per litre. Sahara Depot sold its products at 1,150 naira from 1,045 naira last week. Nigerian government, through the Debt Management Office, has announced 2 savings bond offers. The first one is a 2-year bond that pays 17.23% of interest per annum and ends in January 2027. The second is a 3-year bond that pays 18.23% of interest each year and ends in January 2028. This was contained in DMO's recent notice, noting that 2 savings bonds have some special features. They are tax-free under both company and personal tax laws. Big investors like pension funds and trustees are allowed to buy them. According to DMO, these are very safe investments because they are backed by Nigeria's federal government, which promises to pay back the money. Earlier, the Debt Management Office had said the government was offering 3 bonds worth 150 billion naira in September. And now to international tidbits. Drones from unknown origin were spotted above a military airfield in southern Germany. Investigators said they have not ruled out espionage as a possible cause for the sighting, possibly connected to Russia's war against Ukraine. The Bavaria State Criminal Police Office said the police had been informed about a drone flight above the Manchin Air Base near the city of Ingolstadt on Sunday evening. The officers then were able to detect up to 10 drones. Although a police helicopter was requested for reinforcement, those responsible for the illegal overflights could not be identified. It came after a series of illegal drone flights were recorded over the military security areas in Manchin and neighboring Neuburg and Dadono in December. Authorities suspected that the drones were being used to take pictures of military installations. The LKA hoped that the witnesses would provide information to identify those responsible for the drone flight. The Munich Public Prosecutor General's office, responsible for cases related to terrorism and extremism, has taken over the investigation. US President Joe Biden announced Monday that 2 of the Navy's future aircraft carriers will be named for former Commanders-in-Chief Bill Clinton and George Bush. The United States has a long tradition of naming some of its aircraft carriers massive warships that are crewed by thousands of sailors and carry dozens of planes after former presidents. The latest line of U.S. carriers is named for General R.O. Ford, and another of the multi-billion-dollar ships bears John F. Kennedy's name, the second time he has been honored in that way. Clinton, who did not serve in the military, was president from 1993 to 2001, a period that saw U.S. warplanes carry out strikes in Iraq and Yugoslavia, and American troops battle Somali militiamen in the infamous Black Hawk Down incident, among other conflicts. Bush, who served as a pilot in the Air National Guard, held America's highest office from 2001 to 2009. His presidency was defined by the so-called war on terror that he launched in the aftermath of the September 11 attacks, a military effort that spanned the globe and included the devastating long-running wars in Afghanistan and Iraq that left tens of thousands of people dead. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin hailed the choice of the names, saying that the ships will serve as lasting tributes to each leader's legacy in service of the United States. South Korea's Constitutional Court convened its first hearing on Tuesday to determine whether suspended President Yoon Suk-yeol should be permanently removed from office following his controversial declaration of martial law last month. The session lasted only 4 minutes as Yoon did not attend, citing safety concerns. His lawyers noted that the warrant for his arrest on separate insurrection charges remains active. Yoon was suspended on December 14 after a historic impeachment vote in parliament, where members of his ruling party joined the opposition to oust him. However, under South Korean law, the Constitutional Court must uphold the impeachment with a majority of 6 out of its 8 justices for Yoon to be formally removed from office. The next hearing is scheduled for Thursday, with the court announcing it will proceed without Yoon if he remains absent. Yoon's legal team has criticized the trial schedule as a unilateral decision and has indicated that he will appear at an appropriate time. The court also dismissed a request from Yoon's lawyers to disqualify one of the justices from the proceedings. Yoon's impeachment follows his martial law declaration on December 3, which he justified as a response to anti-state forces. Armored Tiger has attacked and killed a man in Primorye territory in Russia's Far East area. According to local media, the incident happened near the village of Zimniki in the Daunareshchen, 80 kilometers northwest of the city of Vladivostok. Primorye's Deputy Minister of Forestry, Environment Protection, Wildlife and Natural Resources, Philip Shutov, disclosed this on Tuesday. In a video statement, Shutov told police officers and hunting supervision specialists, "We are currently working at the site." The armored tiger, with a population of about 750, is listed as endangered in the International Union for Conservation of Nature (IUCN) Red List of Threatened Species. And that's the global news for tonight. Before we go, another look at the major stories. CP Command visits scene of recruitment attack at Aleto. CPP begs Nigerians to reject APC in 2027. Senate confirms Tinubu's nominees. Depots raise petrol price to now 50 naira per litre. Tiger attacks kills man in Russia. Ronaldo sets to sign new Al Nassr deal. McMill offers to buy TikTok. I am Favor Michael Chikwesri. Thank you for watching. You can follow us on all our social media platforms, on Twitter at Atlantic TV Net, Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic Television Network, on Instagram at Atlantic TV Network. Peace and unity are the pathways to progress.